Hello, my name is Adedoyin Jaiyesimi and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I share information, knowledge, and resources that will be beneficial for people, professionals that work in the communications and public relations space. So today, I want to touch on a topic that I would say is my most frequently asked questions from young professionals. In fact, when I released the open letter to young professionals on my blog earlier in the week, it was really the first question that I got, and I smiled when I saw it because I get asked that question a lot. So I just thought, you know what, let me do this video to really help you to know the factors you need to consider and to help you understand how you should think through making that decision of what professional association to join and then what certification to take as a young communications and public relations professional. Now I'm going to do a bit of storytelling. I'm going to tell you how I made a decision to join the associations I'm currently part of. I am a member of the IABC, and I'm also most recently just joined the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. So this journey began in 2018 when I did a skill audit, and I would definitely advise you to get a skill audit. I know I've talked about an audit in a previous video. That's a comms audit. This is an audit for you, and it's absolutely important. And I'm going to do a video about skill audit because it allows you to really define what the skill gaps are, what the areas where you need to maybe upskill or get a certification, especially one that is tailored for where you want to go. But that will be another video. But when I did my skill audit in 2018, I was running an agency, and I thought to myself, okay, maybe I should go back to 9 to 5. And I thought about what would the big picture look like for me, and I knew that I wanted to either become the chief communications officer or communications director of a large organization. And so I began to do the audit, and the audit showed two things: that one, I needed a professional qualification in communications. At the time, I studied law, went to law school. I didn't have any professional qualification in communications. And the second thing that came out was that I needed to join a professional association. So I began to do a research, and it was between the CIPR diploma and doing a master's program in communications. Now, because I'm led by God in everything that I do, I felt strongly nudged and led to go for the master's degree, which I did at IE Business School, and it was absolutely fantastic. Best choice ever for me, aside from the knowledge that I gained, because it was not just communications. And so my degree was in corporate and marketing communications, but I learned about accounting, entrepreneurship, things outside of communications and public relations, which I found even very, very helpful after the program. So I'm very glad that I did it. Now, when my program finished in 2021, I started to think, okay, I have ticked the box of professional qualification or degree in communications, which I didn't have. The next thing I wanted to do was to join a professional association. Again, it was between it was actually CIPR, and I was thinking, do I go for this now? Do I not go for this? At the time, thanks to my alumni network, I got connected with someone called Martin. Shout out to Eduve, who is a member of the IABC in the UK. And Eduve talks about the IABC so well. And she had come to do a session with the Comms Avenue, I think about maybe in August of 2021. And, what struck me about what she said about IABC was how open and supportive the association is. So I reached out to her, especially because at the time I was really exploring. So I had clarity that, I wanted to do like policy communications. I kind of wanted to do more like social impact communications, that type of thing. And I had a feeling that maybe I would be in the UK or Europe, but I wasn't particularly sure. So if you're close to me, like I move with the Lord, I'm on an adventure with God. So yeah, I wasn't really sure. But then I called Eduve and I was like, I might be in the UK. I'm not sure. I'm trying to explore what the opportunities are there. And she's like, oh, okay. The IABC UK, they do this virtual drink session and non-members can come. It's once a month. And the next one was literally happening the next Thursday. I'm like, oh, okay, why not? I was on holiday. I was not going to lose anything accept my time. So I was like, okay, I will join it. And I joined the session. It was absolutely fantastic. But one thing that happened was after the session, so it was like a 1 hour thing. And at the end of it, people lingered on. So, I just stayed because, I really didn't have anything to do. So I stayed and, they got to know me better. And I was just telling them of how, my career had pivoted or pivot over the years. And, I was currently at that space where I felt another pivot coming up, and I was trying to explore possibilities within the policy communication space. And immediately they were like, oh, you need to reach out to this person who is a senior director in the government communication service of the UK. So I just shoot him a LinkedIn message. I was like, okay, just like that. And I actually did it. I reached out to the person on LinkedIn, scheduled me in his calendar. We had an absolutely amazing conversation where he shared very, very valuable, useful insights with me that even gave me further clarity. But that really struck me. I was like, wow, I got this valuable contact, valuable advice, clarity, all from just attending one free session. And they were the people there, Simon, Laura, there was just this, it was just nice, it was supportive. And that is what I wanted post my master's degree. I wanted to have aside from running the Comms Avenue, I wanted another kind of association that opened me up to a global network that was supportive at the end of the day. And 2 months after that, I decided to join the IABC UK chapter. But as God will have it, I didn't move to the UK at the end of that year. So I would just join the conversations and all of that. I remember in 2022, the Comms Avenue, we wanted to engage different professional associations from across the continent and globally. And then I discovered that there was a West African interest group for the IABC. It was through LinkedIn, Mrs. Shola Abulu. I can't remember the story of how I found her. And I was like, I never knew that they had this, because I knew that there wasn't an African chapter, so to speak. So she was like, yeah, we have the West African interest group, and she added me, and it was absolutely fantastic, meeting every month. I remember I had a training last year, and I reached out to one of the professionals that had decades of experience in a particular sector, and I talked her through how I wanted to approach the training, and she was like, yeah, you're on track, and gave me good feedback. And I just thought this is such a valuable network. Now last year, as I began to teach, and then I started lecturing at the CIPR University of Nairobi program, training and access to capacity building now became very, very, very important to me. And that's when I started feeling strongly I need to be part of the CIPR, because the CIPR, I give it to them. They have training, they have courses. Interestingly, they just released an on-demand training platform for PR and comms people. I love the variety of what they have, and it became really, really strong on me that, what, I think it's time to be part of the CIPR, and also it's time to take the diploma. So, post my master's degree, adult education is not for the faint-hearted, right? I didn't even want to smell anything degree, diploma, but I think now I've had a year, so it's now on my plan. But what I did in the short term, because the IABC does have its own learning portal, so I upgraded to the IABC Advanced. So I moved from the UK chapter to the Africa region, and then because I'm not in the UK, but the beauty of it is that you can still take part in things that go on across the world. So that really is my story so far. I joined the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations this year because when I was thinking through my plan after my degree, I was thinking global first. Remember, I said I was thinking of either being in the UK or being in Europe. So I was thinking I needed something with a global reach, and then regional, and then local. But I couldn't do regional, which is APRA, the African Public Relations Association, because APRA requires you to be a member of your local association before you join. So after I did global, and then I said, okay, time to do the NIPR, and now I'm going to join APRA, I'm going to join CIPR, and does it for professional associations, because it does cost a bit of money. So that is my journey, and that is my, how I've thought through the ones, or how I've selected the association and the professional certification that I would want to do. So coming back to you, if you're just starting out in your career, you don't have such a large budget, or I don't think you have such a large budget to spend on professional associations or even the diploma. The CIPR diploma, it goes to thousands, right? And even joining the association. So for the IABC, for example, I'm paying about $300. I'm sure that I can't remember the exact fee for the CIPR, but it's just about the same. And if you check any international association, there's Global Alliance, there's PRCA, there's ICCO, they're about the same. They're about the same level. And don't worry, at the end of this video, I'm going to do a slide with a list of associations and certifications so that you can know which one to go to, check out the pricing and the requirements and all of that. So let's talk through the factors. What should you be looking at? I think that the first thing is to really establish what you want to achieve. Where do you want to go? So for me in 2018, after I did the audit, and this is why you need to do a skill audit. When I did the audit, I saw that, a professional qualification, whether it was a master's degree. So you have some job requirements that would say a master's degree in communications and public relations necessary, and then some would say a professional qualification is desired, or some would say is necessary in addition to your master's degree. So for what I saw, I could either have a master's degree or a professional certification, but it's nice when you have both, right? So again, what do you want to achieve? You need to do that audit to know, and it's from that audit that I knew, okay, I needed to join a professional association. Now there's certain people that they put their CIPR because I think it's more popular in some way in certain regions. So you may want to consider that. But what I really, really like about the IABC is that he has a real big, expansive network. The CIPR also has that, to be very honest. But I think that the IABC is more vocal about its spread across the world. Literally, I feel like it's one of those things where any country you go, you find an IABC member. That's what it looks like to me, right? So really, really think about what it is that you want to achieve, and then which association or which certification will propel you faster or closer to your next step. So remember what I said. So for me, thinking then about, the UK, I wanted to do that. I wanted a supportive community. I wanted a soft landing, and the IABC, was what I thought would give me would get me closer to that. Now, if you ask me, okay, knowing now that I didn't go to the UK, would I still have joined the IABC? Yes, I would have joined the IABC, because despite the fact that I didn't travel, the network has actually exposed me to a lot, right? So it's been useful for my own personal goals. When people come to me to ask my advice on which one they should join, some people join IABC, some people join CIPR. So it's not a case of either or, better, best. They're both equally good. I think that they're both equally globally recognized on the same level. In my perspective, in my opinion, for me, from my angle, I just believe that the CIPR has a lot more training resources, while, for example, the IABC, what I feel like the IABC's strength is global network, but CIPR also has that, global network as well. So it really, really does depend on what is your goal and what is it that you really want to achieve. So you really need to think through that, and then think through what is going to get you closer to that goal, which one would be beneficial or would work best. Now, the next thing that I would say is, if you're a professional that you're going to be based within the African space or region, what you can start with is to start with your local association. Now, when I finished my master's degree, I was thinking globally. So generally, actually, to be very honest, I usually think globally and work my way backwards, because I just like to expose myself to the global field, right? So I think globally, work my way backwards, but you may not have the $300-$500 to pay for professional association fees. So start with your local association. So there's IPR Ghana, for example, is very vibrant. They have their national conferences. I know they just released a report on climate change communications. There's the PRSK. They had the East Africa Public Relations Week last year. There's the PRST in Tanzania, PRAU in Uganda, ZIPRAC in Zambia, there's Zimbabwe. There's the Nigerian NIPR. The Lagos chapter has workshops and all of those. Start with that and take advantage of what that offers you. What you may find is that you may find professionals in those networks that are also part of either the CIPR or the IABC, and you start asking them questions, and you can learn from them, and you just get what you need to get from that. And then from there, I would also recommend being a part of APRA. So for this year, I was part of the APRA conference for the first time. I was invited to co-facilitate a workshop on strategic communications, and I thought that this is absolutely beautiful. It brought communications professionals from countries that I don't know anybody. And it was really, really nice to do that networking. And I think right now it's really important for us to collaborate across the continent. And I think it's really fantastic. However, if for you, the regional is not so strong on your case, or it's not that appealing for you, from your national or your local association, then you can either pivot and say, okay, I'm going to add on CIPR, or I'm going to add on the IABC. Again, like I said, I'm not here to say either or this is better. No, it's really about what is your goal. Both associations are very, very supportive. The CIPR chair, Samantha, she's been absolutely supportive. I've not met her in person, just connected with her on LinkedIn. She's been absolutely fantastic. So they both, I really do believe that both have a supportive community, of a network of professionals within their community. Now, the second part is professional qualifications. For the CIPR, it's very clear. So there is the diploma. They have other, because I lecture on it, they have other programs which you can find on their website. Run sometimes into thousands of dollars. It's not cheap. So you need to plan it out. Like, if you want to go for that, you need to plan it out. But then what is the goal? I will keep saying this. What do you want to achieve? Is it that you're trying to, get into that global space? You want to be able to access certain opportunities globally down the line. So you want to get it now. A skill audit will help you. Some of you may not need it now. Maybe you can do it in the next 2 years. You can have a plan. So like I said to you, this is since 2018 that I identified, okay, I need some sort of qualification, and I need to be a member of an association. I've not yet taken the CIPR diploma, but I have my master's degree. So don't box yourself in and say, I must do this. Why are you doing it? And don't force yourself into a rigid timeline, right? So you have the CIPR diploma. The IABC also has the SCMP and the CMP. So the SCMP is the Strategic Communications Management Professional. Also great certification, and very, very thorough. I listen to the feedback from the people that have done it, and I'm just like, so for me personally, honestly, after my master's degree, I wanted to give myself time to just let my brain rest. So I will take the CIPR diploma. I don't know when. I've given myself a time frame, but I will do it. The SCMP of the IABC, I'll see how I'm feeling about it. I'm not so sure. But what's immediately connected to the goals that I have is the CIPR diploma, and I'm going to do it. So you can see how I'm thinking through these decisions, and that's really how you should think through it. So just a recap, you can start locally with your local associations. You can move to APRA, which is regional, and then you move to either choosing the CIPR or IABC. Now, somebody's going to ask me, what about the other associations? You have the PRCA, I think there's PRSA, there's the ICCO. It's still the same thinking, right? Why am I joining? What is this association or body? What is it offering me that others are not offering me? What edge or extra advantage am I going to get from joining this? So you need to be very, very clear on it. It's not a bandwagon decision. It's a decision that it has to be personalized to you as well. And what I would also say is that, beyond thinking about what the association will add to you, please think about what you will add, because I've seen that for professional associations, the 1 year flies by very quickly. Like I told you, I signed up for the IABC Advance, and I've only done one full course on it, and this is what, July. I have to renew in October. Time flies. I'm like, I have to watch all the things I can watch with the money that I've paid for. So what value are you also adding? You know, are you volunteering? Are you contributing in any sort of way to the association, to the contributing to the conversations? Because that's how you will get benefit from the association. Because you may just realize you sign up, and after 1 year, nobody's going to be chasing you around because everybody is busy. So you need to bear that in mind. What value do I want to add, and how can I make sure that I'm also contributing or gaining as much as I can from just being in this community? Now, because you don't have the money required to pay for association fees, it's not the end of the world. I think the IABC and CIPR, they have student membership. So you find some association that have student membership for those who are students. So if you are not a student, well, sorry. But, you know, if you're not a student and you're like, oh, this is so much, please take advantage of their free webinars and their free resources. I joined a webinar that the CIPR did on the African communication space and AI. It was really good. I always join it. I told you, I follow Samantha. Anything that she's posting about the CIPR, I'm reading and I'm checking. If I like the topic, you will find me there. Because again, I may not be a member, but I can join by association. I can say, okay, let me learn this, right? If you go to the IABC website, you see resources. Catalyst has lovely articles. And something I really like about the IABC, which I forgot to mention, is their emphasis on communications professionals being strategic advisors. And that for me is like, so they have resources around that. In fact, I was searching for a video on communications measurement to play in a class. So I taught a class on communications measurement and evaluation, and I was looking for a video to show. And I just saw one video of from IABC Heritage. I didn't even know it existed, but it was so good. The content was, I took time, I watched it, I learned from it. So there are free resources on YouTube, free resources on their websites. They do webinars. Sometimes they do free trainings, plug in. So follow their pages on LinkedIn, connect with those that are already members, you know, spending the time that you can then join the association or take whatever certification that's there. So I don't think that you should just say, oh, I can't join and that's the end. No, you can still learn from them and you can still connect with people that are within that network. I hope that you found this helpful. For those of you that are looking for qualifications to close a knowledge gap and you find that you don't yet have the financial resources to do it, take advantage of, you know, communities that can help you to close those knowledge gaps. If you're in Nigeria, there's the Nigerian Women in PR, there's the Women in PR Ghana, there's the African Communications Week, there's the Comms Avenue. You have my YouTube and my website where I share courses, I share videos, so you can use that, but then create a plan, because that's it. I had a plan in 2018, and don't put yourself under any unnecessary pressure. You can get a good job even if you're not in a professional association, and that's the truth. It's just that at a point in your career, it's going to become important and valuable. Then you plug it in at different points. Okay, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, pace yourself depending on what your financial capacity or capability is. So thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop a comment here, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email. My email address is adedoyin@thecommsavenue.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Please, if you found this video valuable, share it with your colleague, share it with anyone that you feel will benefit from the content of this video. So I will see you next week or in the next video where I will be talking about how to do a skill audit. Bye.